Temple of Speed. Welcome back to Monza, folks. 3 lights, 4 lights, all 5 lights are lit. And it's pedal to the metal, and it is go, 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 and it gets underway well. Joshua Rogers certainly got the jump of them all here as they make their way down towards turn 1. Sebastian Job forced to wait in behind as well. Thibaut Casibon further back, looking to try and muscle his way through his teammate though, Yuri Toman, still currently sat in 3rd. Oh, look at this from Job, finally around the outside, heading through the Rettifilio. He leads the race, he now leads through Joshua Rogers, heading through Curva Grande. That was special, it was brilliant. He looked like he'd lost the place up at the front end due to the fact that Joshua Rogers had the better start, but now has a nose in front, down towards the Rogier.
Yeah, but Rogers has come straight back through, coming into the Rogier. It's fantastic between the pair of them. I said they weren't going to pull any punches. That's exactly what we're seeing here. Also, Johan Hart is joining the mixes. He's going to try and make his way around the outside of Yuri Toman. A big send down the inside of Sebastian Jobs, hanging onto the race lead. But what a move there from the Porsche co-anda driver of Joshua Rogers. These two are laying it all on the line in semi-final 2. Rogers back towards the front.
Yeah, royalty in racing. These two up at the sharp end certainly are that. They have won pretty much anything there is to offer. They both have succeeded at the highest level here in the world of professional esports, and certainly here now Joshua Rogers retaking the lead here at this stage, but I get the feeling we're going to be seeing a few switcheroos before the checkered flag is unveiled here at Monza as we now make our way down through towards Curva Alboreto. Job there, you can see him at the bottom left of your screen, just vigorously looking up and around, and obviously just trying to make sure his awareness is on point. You can just see some movements as well. Oh dearie me, a Mercedes going off at the back there.
Yeah, I think that was Graham Carroll getting squeezed off and all that. It's Marco Page is at the rear of the field. Ryan Barneveld being dropped back towards towards that last position. He's not going to be in it yet. He's in 11th place. Up the front, by the way, they continue to battle out. In the mid-pack, they continue to battle it out. It's been a chaotic first lap here in semi-final 2 to match the first one. Let's see if Job will do anything about Rogers now. That was on the brakes early. He's not going for anything because there's chaos behind.
There certainly is chaos behind as well. Oh, the mouse having to cut across the circuit. Never ideal. Of course, Patrick Holzman representing here for the mouse team. Still holds on to his position. Kaiki Oliveira as well, right in the heart of the issue. Jack Keithley, we're currently seeing in the bottom left now round in Curva Grande, having to recover after that little descent over the curbing. And obviously, it's a very uncomfortable ride heading through that part of the chicane, as well as we're now seeing the cars now nose to tail. The gaps very minute here in this very early stage. We're only mere laps in to our current affair here around the Temple of Speed. Jack Keithley now heading through the Lesmo 1. He's got Nikodem Wisniewski in behind that of the Furia car in behind as well. Joshua Rogers still with the advanced lead at this stage with Sebastian Job, 0.4 of a second in behind too, with Yuri Toman, who's not far behind either. They'll now power their way down the Serrano Straight. It's Rogers, Job, Toman, Hart, Holzman, Keithley. They are in the top 6. They're going through unless something changes.
Yeah, Wisniewski's had a bit of a disappointing opening to this race. 8th position he's currently running, not inside that top 6, not moving through into the final, not making it all 4 Williams Esports drivers moving through. Neither is Thibaut Casibon making it all 4 R8G drivers. They've both got to do a lot of work if that is to change. Again, we've not seen it before in ESL R1. Today could be the day. We've got a couple of really good chances at that happening. Big slide coming out through the final corner from Thibaut Casibon. Nikodem Wisniewski picking up the slipstream with Kaiki Oliveira. Jack Keithley doing a really good job to stay inside that top 6. But I get the feeling, George, that we're certainly not done with drama when it comes to proceedings in semi-final 2. We've got plenty more to deal with as Graham Carroll's attacking the birthday boy.
He certainly is. Casabon under pressure now as the Mercedes team are looking to try and advance their charge. They're still cemented towards the rear. Graham Carroll currently sat in 10th place. Marco Page unable to get off the back row of things. Casabon currently the cork in the bottle at this stage. There's a little gap ahead of him to that of Nikodem Wisniewski. He currently sits just over 7.5 of a second. He needs to try and marshal that deficit in. Patrick Holzman now also leading a small train of cars heading through the Rogier chicane. He's got Jack Keithley hugging his rear wing right now. That gap has now sprung out to a second as he makes his way through the Rogier, and there he is in the bottom left of your screen. Again, very pensive, obviously still a ways to go in this race, but they need to start trying to take advantage as early as possible.
Yeah, 1 second though, the grouping is now clearing off ahead. This is another look at that first corner bit where he skipped over at T1. I mean, you could say maybe he had nowhere to go. Maybe you could say he should have held his line. I don't know, but race control will certainly take a look at it. Patrick Holtzman not off clean in this race. Jack Keithley over the rear end of him. So there's still plenty of fighting there. And again, as much as we've not looked at it for a little while, I can tell you that grouping towards the top, Rogers, Jobe, Toman and Harth, that is not done. They will continue. They will have a fight. There are points up for grabs for those spots. It just depends on when they start the attack. You can see a bit of a look there from Johan Harth on Yuri Toman, not going for it yet. Between Rogers, Jobe and Harth, those three have raced each other quite a few times elsewhere in the world of sim racing. Toman is the outlier there. The other three come mostly from the world of iRacing. Toman is mostly from the world of R Factor 2. Now, whilst they have raced each other plenty of times in ESL R1, it's still this big collision of worlds in the world of sim racing that I have absolutely loved seeing names that we wouldn't normally see racing with each other.
Yeah, no, absolutely. This is where worlds collide essentially here at Red Sport now, as now we see Patrick Holtzman under pressure as Jack Keithley looks to hold back the tide here in 5th place, managing to get past out of Holtzman, with him behind Kaiki Oliveira, also fancying a piece of the pie. Nikodem Wisniewski making up the rest of them too, with Thibaut Kanzenbod, who's managed to breach into that 1 second gap, trying to propel his way forwards, but has still got Graham Carroll for company, as well as Barneveld and Pajic. Certainly Jasmine isn't going to be very happy with the fact that her pick currently sits in P11. Jack Keithley, who we're currently seeing on screen, making her way through towards Lesmo 1. Johan Harth next on his list, but he's got an almighty 1.5 seconds to find, and that's going to prove very tricky as well, because remember, he needs the aero, and someone who will have the aero is Patrick Holtzman, so he's going to be fast down the long straights.
Yeah, certainly so. Well, there you go. You can see a confirmation of the stat there about Joshua Rogers. The only 2 times, by the way, he didn't make it through to a final. One was at Spa and one was at Nürburgring. That was, of course, before Monza was on the platform. We introduced that at Munich, where he, I think he did fairly well. It wasn't the Porsche wasn't particularly strong around Monza when we were racing at Munich. He still managed to pick up a couple of wins elsewhere on his progression through, ending up, I think, if I remember correctly, I think it was 3rd in the championship that he ended up late on in our battling in Munich. He's certainly one of the ones that entered finalist mode. One of 5 drivers, by the way, that entered finalist mode there in Munich. Rogers currently leading, currently fairly comfortable, but he will be attacked. This is where things are not comfortable. Keithley's well into his wrestling. I think he's going to have to wrestle to hang on to this position right now. He's in 5th spot, but here comes that big slipstream train. It's Patrick Holtzman, the first of them to close in. Kaiki Oliveira and Nikodem Wisniewski also. Williams still in position to potentially have all 4 drivers moving through here if things play out the way they want it.
Yeah, absolutely. Holtzman now trying to hug the outside, obviously trying to protect the place against Kaiki Oliveira, who has been impressive. Remember, this is a battle for P6, so everything on the line to try and make your way in towards the final round. Well, certainly the final race of round 1 as they make their way in towards the Roger. Still with a favourable line, the Tiger line for Holtzman. Oliveira having to wait in behind yet again, but the pace is clearly with the Brazilian. He'll have another chance here heading out of the Lesmo. The Serralio straight will present an opportunity. This is not over yet, Lewis.
Certainly not. It certainly isn't. And again, the grouping gets bigger because Kazabon rejoins the fight. Carroll, Barneveld and Pajic all in tow, all fighting for the final couple of positions to move through into the first final of the season. If there's one that you want to win, it's either the first or the last, because you want to be heading into that final with the best momentum when we go to Sweden later on in the year. Or you want to start out the season with the best momentum. At the moment, getting through to the final is the most important bit for them. That's what they're focused on. They're up for the final victory, and of course for that brand new prize money that's up for grabs in that final. A bit of a look down the inside there from Wisniewski, still not able to make his way through on Kaiki Oliveira. Patrick Holtzman's able to hang on to 6th for now, but this is the bit we're talking about, George. The run down towards the Red Defilio. There is surely a move from someone coming here.
Yeah, certainly is. Now looking at the rear wing view of Kaiki Oliveira's car, and you can see there Nikodem Wisniewski, who had a little cheeky look down the inside heading in towards Kerber Alboreto, but also the Furia car belonging to Oliveira now looking to try and pull a punch. Oh no! Coming into contact with Patrick Holtzman, overzealous on the brakes. Jack Keithley caught up in all the carnage as well. In comes Nikodem Wisniewski, while Oliveira now has the place. I think the stewards are going to be taking a look at that one as they now enter the Curva Grande now. Wisniewski on the outside, enter again Patrick Holzman, he's not going to take it lying down, switches through the gap as they head down now in towards the next lip to get through the Roche here. Again, peppering back here, Holzman. Fury here from the mouse car that looks to pounce here at this point. In between now, enter Nikodem Wisniewski. Timo Kazimon, the birthday boy, looking for a birthday gift of a P6 here to make his way to the final. We caught a view there from Adrian in the steward's office. He's going to be a very busy boy after this one, Lewis.
Oh yeah, there's going to be a sweaty brow there after all that. Keithley, in my opinion, did nothing wrong. He got sent over T1 and just carried on. There was nothing he could do in all of that, but this looks like it's going to go from bad to worse for a few of these drivers. Kaiki Oliveira has the whole shot coming in, but it's Wisniewski, Holtzman, all coming through. Carroll's made his way past Timo Kazimon as they run through the exit of Ascari. This looks like it is destined for the largest crash we've seen in ESL R1, but we'll keep our fingers crossed. These are the very best drivers in the world of sim racing, and they should be able to keep their nose clean in all of this. That was a little sketchy and probably a little bit too far, George.
Yeah, I think so. I think there's going to be a few drivers that are going to be in a little bit of trouble. I would say probably Kaiki Oliveira might sustain, I think, the brunt of it. I think he just got it a little bit wrong heading in towards the chicane. We know the Rettifilio can be very dangerous. Graham Carroll is now a big danger man for Patrick Holtzman, whose race now has been certainly interrupted at this point. Graham Carroll wrestling now with the mouse Audi as it makes its way towards turn 1, turn 2. Inside line here for Graham Carroll as he now makes his way out to that particular section. Now overtakes that of Holtzman and takes that P8 as well. But now he's got to try and chase after Nikodem Wisniewski. And look at Holtzman literally pushing Carroll around the curve of Grande. But look at Kazimon. He's going to make it 3 wide. Sensational movements here from all these drivers. They're all fighting out for the top 6. It's now or never because we've only got 2.5 laps still to go.
Yeah, I think Carroll might be a little bit frustrated there with what Patrick Holtzman was doing. It was a squeeze, quite an aggressive squeeze, by the way, from the German coming down into the first section, into that Rettifilio complex. Just a bit of a squeeze. Carroll was still able to make his way around the outside, but I'm pretty sure he'll be a little bit flustered after all this, picking up the slipstream of Nikodem Wisniewski. The battle for 6th is not done for them, but it all depends on what Patrick Holtzman does when it comes to when and how he's going to attack here. Well, when is now, and how is aggressively straight down the inside of the Ascari. He's not able to do so, but Graham Carroll's overdriven it. This could become only a couple of horse race now for that final position inside the top 6, because I think this grouping might be ejected from any chance of moving through to the final.
Yeah, and Williams with every chance here to get 2 drivers through. Don't forget, Kaiki Oliveira might yet get penalised, but take a look at this. In comes Holtzman down the inside around Kerber Alboreto. Contact made there with Graham Carroll. Timo Kazimon caught up in all of that as well. Marco Page is going to look to try and hoover up every opportunity, along with Ryan Barneveld as well. Page now up to 9th. Carroll still in 8th. You can see now as they make their way down the straight, Kazimon is going to look to try and gamble here. This time, as he makes his way through, we're looking at Yuri Toman heading through the first chicane as he looks to try and propel himself forward. There's still a battle on for Ps1 and Ps2. Look at this as well. They come together through the first chicane. Still wheel to wheel, this time with Kazimon and Page. Through in Ryan Barneveld. There's hope for him yet, Jasmine. Hope for him yet.
Yeah, the top 4 remain. My name's not Jasmine, by the way, but it's fine. We'll carry on. It's fine. It's fine. Don't worry about it, George. I feel much prettier now, but that's fine. I appreciate that. We'll
I was alluding to
this fight continue. Oh, right. Oh, I see. I thought you were just talking about me. Goodness. Well, there is the slip and slide from Page and Barneveld. Page dropping back now to 11th. Barneveld up to 10th. Wisniewski has got past Kaiki Oliveira, meaning all 4 Williams drivers at the moment will be progressing. This order, though, I think with the exception of potentially the top 4, can be thrown straight into the bin once race control have taken a very solid look. Jasmine.
Yeah, thank you very much, Lewis McLean, as they make their way down the Seraglio straight. Barneveld, though, under pressure, hasn't looked to yet capitalise, certainly after all the chaos that happened around the Kerber Alboreto, heading through now the Ascari chicane, and Marco Page being forced to be left behind the BMW as it makes its way now down towards Kerber Alboreto yet again, but up at the sharp end, Rogers still propelling himself forward, holding on to the lead right now. There he is in the bottom left of the screen with Sebastian Job just in behind. Toman as well in third. There's still very much a tasty encounter in, well, certainly a possible encounter here. Look at Job with the slipstream, the straight line speed on offer here for the BMW. Don't count out Yuri Toman in this fight either. They're going wheel to wheel, heading through turn one, out to the Rettifilio. It's Job in front, and look at this, Toman with the toe himself. They head towards Curva Grande. It's a 3-car scrap. Could yet be a 4-car scrap with Johan Half.
Yeah, it could well be. Obviously, he's watching this all happen right now. Sebastian Job's taken over the race lead. Yuri Toman's trying to steal second position off of the Porsche Commander. Joshua Rogers is going to send it into the Roger. That is a fantastic send once again from the Australian as he's trying to clamber once again onto the rear of the G2 Esports driver. Here comes Johan Half, then straight down the inside. A bit of a squeeze there from the RAG man. Yuri Toman trying to fend off Johan Half, who's looking absolutely fantastic at the moment. Half is looking to progress through to the final of what I believe will be only the second time in his ESL R1 career. He did it back in Katowice. Now he's trying to do it once more, but our eyes have to be on the race lead, George. This could be it for Sebastian Job and Joshua Rogers.
They've got one straight after the Ascari chicane, and the exit out of this particular run is going to be oh so vital. And then they've got Kerber Alboreto, which will take them down to the home stretch before they cross the start-finish line for the final time. And it's certainly Sebastian Job who holds onto the lead. But the question is, can he bring it home? Here comes Joshua Rogers. He's going to go for the move now, heading through towards Kerber Alboreto here on the final lap. Is it going to be home and host for Sebastian Job? It certainly will be. G2 Esports will celebrate. Job done for Sebastian Job. He wins here at the Temple of Speed. He wins at Monza.